All right, let's go. We've got a very special guest, everybody, this week. I want to welcome my friend Natalie Buor, straight out of Southern Cali, and she's going to be sharing her story with us today. Welcome, Natalie. Great to have you here, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Happy to be here. I'm glad I made it.
Woo! Yeah.
You guys always have the most amazing lineup. So when you asked me, I was like, oh my gosh.
It just got more amazing. All right, y'all. Natalie, what's going on in your world today? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm born and raised in Long Beach, California. I'm Cambodian, first generation here. My parents survived a crazy genocide that killed off a third of the population at the time. So like, thank God they made it here to give me this life so that I don't have to like grow up in a third world country, you know? I mean, those people are some of the strongest people, you know, when you grow up in an environment like that. But I'm just so grateful that I have the freedom that I have today to be who I want to be, because my parents didn't raise me like an American, you know, they raised me as a traditional Cambodian woman. And those traits were everything that I was not. I was not a quiet person. I'm loud and bubbly and like all over the place, right? And like to them, that's just like so embarrassing, you know? They're like, can you please just act like a lady, you know? Like every time I just laughed, it was just laughing. They'd be like, shh. And I'm like, fuck, man, I can't even laugh. And my parents were crazy. I know, and this is the thing, like a lot of people, when I was younger, I didn't like complaining about my parents because everybody thinks their parents are strict, right? Like I'm sure everybody here can relate and, you know, just think that they had strict parents. I mean, maybe some of us had some of my friends had some pretty cool parents that, you know, they could just free to do whatever they like and just be a kid. I never had that freedom. I couldn't go to prom. You know, these are the degrees. Okay, just naming a couple of things. I wasn't allowed to go to prom. My parents wanted me to focus solely on academics. So when I was taking all these AP classes and like, you know, I was in the top program in my high school. So classes got pretty hard. I was also on the tennis team. And when my grades kind of dropped a little, my mom freaked and she was like, if you don't quit, she was pressuring me to quit the tennis team. And I love tennis so much that I was like, no, I'd have my dad sneak me out. My dad was the homie growing up, man. He would like, he'd have my back, man. Like every time I wanted to do something, like my dad knew how crazy my mom was. So like, he'd like, let me live a little, you know, he'd like sneak me to go like meet with some of the guys I like sometimes. And he'd like keep secrets for me, you know? And we had our little secrets, so it was cool. But when I was in high school and with the tennis team, when I had my dad sneaking me out, my mom was telling me like, if you do not quit the tennis team, I will kick you out of the house, like type of thing. And it wasn't like onto the streets. She was just gonna send me to like one of her friends that was like super strict, like even more strict than she was. And I was just like, fuck, dude. So these were the degrees of how strict it was in my household. I wasn't allowed to talk on the phone. I wasn't allowed to hang out with friends. It was just like school, 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 school. And I felt like I was in jail, you know, and I just couldn't wait to get out of the house. I couldn't wait to go to college just to be me, not even to just be wild, just to be me, to dress the way I wanted to dress, to express myself the way I wanted to express myself. So when I got to college, you know, my parents they're expecting me to be like this doctor, right? Because they gave me this life. They went through hell to give me this life. They survived. And now it is my responsibility to pay it forward and give it back to them, which was a huge pressure in my life growing up. And I did feel that pressure. And I was like, all right, they want me to be a doctor. I got to be a doctor. When I got to college, I was like, I don't want to be a doctor. You know, the classes were crazy. But I was like, I'm just going to get the degree. And once I get the degree, I'm just going to let them know, like, I tried this and it's just not for me. You know, like I tried this, but I don't want to go to med school. So 3 years in, I'm like, all right, I got one more year left, and I'm going to be really free, you know? So my third year, I was in physics lab. And I've never shared this story publicly because I've lied about it for so long in my life. I was so ashamed of this. In my physics labs were 4 hours long. And at this point, I was so fed up with living this fake life for my parents, just getting the degree for no reason. I didn't care for these classes because I knew I wasn't going to do anything with it. So I had my friend's notebook with me that would help me through the lab. I did my own numbers and everything, but it would just help me get out of there in like 2 hours. And my teacher loved me for that because he's like, damn, this girl's smart. You know, she's getting out of class before everybody. And, you know, I rode my longboard all around campus and he had a longboard. So like we vibed. So he just thought I was a super cool chick, you know, the super smart, super into physics. And one day he caught me. So, and he was so disappointed. I'll never forget this day. He was so disappointed. Like he saw it and he was like, oh my gosh, like, this is why you've been getting out of class so early. And he like hits me on the head with it. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know how to deal with it at the time. I was young and I didn't know what to do. And instead of apologizing after class and talking to him about it, I just walked out and just hoping for the best. So what ended up happening was he ended up turning me in to the entire board. So the board emailed me and they told me that I had to have a sit down meeting with them. So I went in to tell them my story. I, again, didn't know what to do. So I cried and made up a story that my parents were getting a divorce. And that's why I ended up cheating. I didn't know what to do. And I'm like the worst liar ever. They didn't buy it. So I ended up suffering the consequences. They ended up suspending me from school. And they said that if I wanted to go back, I had to start over in another major. And this was the darkest moment of my life because I'm spending my whole entire life living for my parents, like ready for this freedom, right? I had 1 more year left. And I'm like, man, like it's over, you know? And I was going to be suspended for a year. I was living in a sorority house at the time. I was like, fuck, I got to find another place to live. Like, there was just so much going through my head. This was the most that I've ever had to deal with. This is when I did go through depression and all that. It's very rare for me to go through like depression and anxiety, but this was a time that I was able to experience that. And because I lied about my entire life. I was also bartending at this time. So it was hard to even go to work because everybody wants to hear about your life and what you're doing, you know, and I just had to lie to everybody. I lied to my parents. I lied to my friends. I lied to everybody I worked with about what was going on because I didn't want to tell them the story of why I got kicked out of school. So a year went by and I just worked. I pretended I was going to school still. I still went on campus because I didn't want my friends to know. And I still went to like parties and stuff just so that people would think that I was still in school. You know, I was just so embarrassed of myself. And a year goes by and I'm like, okay, do I want to go back to school? Why do I want to go back to school? You know, there's no point. Like, what do I even want to do? I never had a backup plan. But I was like, I got to do this for my parents. I got to give them a degree. I cannot walk out here and not get them a degree. Like they like waited their whole life for this. So I went back to school. I talked to a counselor, like the best, chillest counselor ever. Like this was when the universe started working for me. And she was like, well, what do you want to major in? And I was like, I don't know. And this was the first time in my life that I was given the option to choose what I wanted to do. She gave me this book of majors. And, you know, it starts with A's. So I'm like looking through and I come across anthropology. And I'm like, that sounds kind of cool. Like I've never heard of it, but I'm just like, damn, the study of humanity, you know? And then like biological anthropology is like a study of like evolution. So there's a lot of concentration. There's archaeological, there's agricultural, there's cultural, and then there's biological. So I did it with the concentration in biological. So I did biological anthropology, and man, like I was so interested in this subject, like that I never knew when I chose it, that like I like excelled. Like smashed, like I had the coolest counselors, and like I was always participating. I was just a different student, a different me. And I saw myself in another light, even though I didn't know what I'd be able to do with that type of degree. It was just something in my life that I just felt like, damn, like I feel like I'm finally, like I kind of fit into who I am. I felt like not fitting in for a long time in my life, just doing things for other people. So it was, my life started to like go up from there. And then when I graduated, I gave my parents the ceremony. I gave them the degree. They didn't care too much, honestly, that it wasn't in biochem. I switched from biochem, by the way, to biological anthropology. And I graduated, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. So I just stuck to bartending because the money was really good. And I didn't know what I wanted to do at that time. I was really confused because I was so busy living my life for my parents and trying to be someone that I wasn't. And this isn't just my parents. This is me, like everything wise, like I never felt like I fit in because I grew up in an environment where like I was the minority, and I was also poor. A lot of kids around me were very wealthy. So I always thought that the cool thing to do was try to be that. So I did, and I fell into that whole image, and until I joined Purium, like if you guys know me, I know Angelo and Mallory, you guys probably seen me when I first joined. Like I was completely like platinum bleach blonde, like typical like SoCal Hollywood look, and then like I definitely changed a lot, and like I'm on this journey back
like
to
Eminem.
myself. But anyways, I bartended, and I got into the restaurant industry, and then I just felt in my heart, I'm like, all right, this is the hand I was dealt. God gave me a life to be a server, a bartender. So I just have to make the best of it, because what am I going to do? Be miserable? So I picked up another restaurant job, and I decided to work at 2 restaurant jobs in order to feel some type of power, right? Because I felt like I had no power because I had no purpose. I felt like I wasn't doing anything with my life. I felt like I didn't have direction in my life. I didn't know where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, but money has power in the program, right? In the system. So it made me feel like I had some type of power. So I doubled on that, and I just focused on money, and I just went to work, and I put my head down. I didn't really go out. I didn't do anything. I just worked. Until it got to January 2020. I was like, okay, I'm making good money. I was making like 80,000 a year working at 2 restaurants. I was traveling. I was making more than my parents. And I'm like, all right, like what's going to be my goal? What's going to be my plan? So I broke it up in my head. I'm like, I want to buy my parents a house. That was my goal, because that's their dream. Coming to America, they wanted to buy a house. So if I make $100,000 a year, break that up into days. I literally did this at the beginning of January 2020. It was $277 a day, which was to me a joke, because I made like 200. That's like on a low average at both jobs. So I was making like $400 a day. That's without the checks of minimum wage. And I was so obsessed with keeping track of each day that I had made, and I was on track the whole entire year, right? The whole entire year I was keeping track of everything I made, and I was like, yes, I'm on track. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And then the pandemic hits, and then both my jobs get shut down. So I'm like, fuck, I'm going to fucking miss out on income today. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So I hop on Postmates and Grubhub to have the income still flowing, because I did not want to miss out on a day of income. I was just obsessed with money. I didn't care what it was. I was like, I just need to keep this income flowing because I have these goals at the end of the year, right? So I did Postmates and Grubhub for a while. And during this time as well, my food sources were usually restaurant food. I was very addicted to just eating whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, because it was like there for me day and night at both restaurants. And it was very unhealthy for me. There's like a lot of inflammation going on, even though I went to the gym every day. But during this time is when I found my upline, who got me into this, and I did the cleanse, and I got into it because I saw that she had gained muscle. It looked like a healthy cleanse. It didn't look like a trying to get skinny cleanse. She actually gained like muscle. So I'm like, you know, I work out every day. I don't want to lose my muscle. And I gave it a try to get my health together because I've never addressed my health for my entire life. I've eaten fast food from college, restaurant food after that, and I never have been able to address it. And I'll never forget that when I went on this cleanse, within the 6 day, like all my limiting beliefs and my self-doubts, like they just started to kind of fade. Like I stopped thinking those things about myself. I noticed, because I always think those things about myself. You know, I didn't notice that that talk was there that much until the 6th day of the cleanse, when I felt like a lift, you know, and I was like, what is it? And I was like, damn, was I that negative on myself? And I would notice that because when I was in the restaurant industry, I still made like little videos, hoping that maybe one day I'll have the courage to share my life and what I'm going through, and hopefully it could help maybe other people in the restaurant industry. But I always doubted myself and I never posted them. So I have so many videos in my phone that I never posted that I wanted to post because of the negative self-talk that I had on myself. But when it came to this cleanse, every video that I made, I was like, fuck, I could post this. And I started posting and I was like, damn, this isn't like me, you know? And I started sharing my journey. And I just remember like during the second set of 10 days of the cleanse, where you're fully immersed into the products, like I went 10 days without solid food for the first time in my life. And I felt like accomplished as fuck. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm fucking superhuman. You know what I mean? I just went without food for 10 days and just eating these products. I'm feeling nourished and I'm just feeling great. And damn, I need my parents to feel this way, right? Because I can't forget about my parents. I pushed them away for so long because they wanted me to be somebody that I wasn't for so long. And I'm like, I can't have that energy around me. Like, I'm sorry, I love you. Thank you for giving me this life. I don't mean to show you any disrespect, even though it feels so disrespectful to you. Like, you know, I had to do it. Like, you have to do things for yourself sometimes, even if it means something different to people that you love, even if it looks like something different to someone that you love. It wasn't that I didn't love them or disrespected them. I was just trying to be me. So when I found something that allowed me to feel like a better me, all I wanted to do was share it with them. They were the first people that I thought of. So I bought 2 more cleanses for them without even thinking I want to do this as a business. Because I'm still thinking like, I love working in restaurants. Oh my gosh, it's making me so much money. I can't wait to go back to work because we're in a pandemic, right? But I was like, man, I'm fucking getting my game on. And when I go back to work, I'm going to be 10 times better. So I bought 2 more cleanses for my parents. And you know, they're over 70 years old. So I'm like, how am I going to present this to them in a way where it's not, again, disrespectful? You know, like they're over here, like, I'm gonna give this, and they're like, are you fucking serious? You're gonna tell me I can't have everything that I've been eating for 70 years and I'm gonna have to switch it up to what, like fruits and vegetables and this powder bullshit, you know? I'm like, so I was like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to use the program that David Sandoval created and create it into my own schooling program. So I made it like a school. So the first 10 days I made it was like elementary school. The second set of 10 days was like the advanced fasting. So I was like, we're going to skip middle school and go to high school. And then the last set of 10 days was college, right? We're like working everything out back into a lifestyle. We're chilling and we're going to have the new life after that. So I called it Paradise Academy. I went to the Dollar Tree. I got like 2 notebooks, one for my mom, one for my dad. I transferred everything, like, you know, the meals, the rules, like the guidelines, like the schedule of the whole entire 30 days. I like made little check mark boxes for them to check off everything in their days, every single day. And I called it Paradise Academy. I called it Paradise Meals, Paradise Snacks, just so that they could feel that this was something fun and something bright and not something dark. You know, it's so automatic for people to view change as being dark and scary because you only see what you're going to lose and not what you're going to gain, you know? So that's why a lot of people are scared to make change. And I knew they were going to be scared of this because my parents live in fear. They do, because of everything that they've gone through. You know, if they express themselves even a little, they would get killed. And that's why a lot of my family members didn't make it. So I take them on this cleanse. I buy Lay's and everything. I buy a bunch. I go to 99-cent store. I even buy like these paradise signs and like little coconut cups, you know, like make them feel like they're on this vacation away from toxic foods. You know, I present it to them and I put the Lay's on them. I make it so fun, and they actually liked it. They bought it. They were like, oh my gosh, like, because I've never done anything for them before, right? This was something that brought me back to bonding with them. So like this cleanse was more than just a cleanse to me. It was something that allowed me to bond back with my parents. So I'm like so grateful for that. And so they took it seriously. They went on this cleanse, and it did so much more for them than it did for me. It got them off of all of their meds. They're diabetic, so they're taking like 8 pills a day for like to keep their blood pressure normal, to keep their cholesterol levels normal, to keep their sugar levels normal. Did I say that already? Blood pressure, all that. They had things to test themselves every day to make sure that they were on track every day, because if they weren't, they would be at risk for like having a stroke. You know, it was really that serious. And when I got them on this cleanse, man, like they were just like different people. They wanted to exercise every day. They wanted to go on walks every day. And my mom was not like this. My mom just did not like even going outside. So it changed her. It changed both my mom and my dad as well. It helped their relationship too. And after this cleanse, you know, I also documented their journey and I shared it. And this is what got everyone to hit me up and was wondering, what is this? What are you doing? You know, like I want the Kool-Aid, you know, like what is everybody drinking? What's that green stuff, you know? And I was giving all of these codes to Melissa, my upline, thinking, you know, like, here you go. Not thinking about doing the business, but she was like, dude, like you should do this as a business. You can totally be making money doing this. Like this, you know, like you're not even trying and you're attracting people. And I was like telling her all my self-doubts and why I didn't want to do it. And she like literally looked at me like, and like seriously gave me this talk and told me like, dude, like you have a big heart. You're going to do so many big things in this business, because people with big hearts do amazing things in this business. And she was just saying beautiful things to me, you know, like about myself. And it's crazy because I look up to her a lot. I looked up to her a lot at the time because I was in a low place with myself, and I saw that she was in a high place with herself. She valued herself. You know, she had just gone through a breast explant surgery. She was going through breast implant illness, which I didn't know was a thing. And I just thought it was so powerful that a woman or anyone can share something like that with the world, you know, like knowing that you went through this whole surgery to get implants in, and you had to go through another surgery to get it out, and you're sharing your journey. Like I can't relate to that, but whatever strength you have to share that part of you, that pain in you, like I want that, you know. And everything she shared on her Instagram was very educational, and I love the way she shared things, and I felt that everything that she spoke was truth. So there was so much power in her words to me because I looked up to her a lot. And I just told myself like, dude, like she wouldn't lie to you. If she says this is true, it has to be true. So I gave it a try, and it's fucking changed my life, like just in more ways than one. Not only like with my family, but like with myself, you know, just like realizing how much I've ignored myself and how much I've become so good at masking up my pains, right? I haven't talked about it yet, but like when I was younger, I was like violently like abused by my parents. Like it was bad, by both of them, with like belts and hangers till they broke, and like metal rods. Like I'd have bruises all over my body. Like there'd be times where I couldn't even walk, you know. And I thought it was normal, and I thought it was okay. And I just kind of masked it up and thought it was okay. I didn't realize that, like, man, like I learned a lot of fear and anger and pain, like in those moments, you know, of a child. Like you wonder where children learn these emotions, and it's in these moments, like in the household. Like, and I never realized that. And I was never able to address that or even acknowledge that until a couple of days ago, you know. So there's so many parts in me that deserve healing and like have emotions that still need to be expressed and that deserve to be held. And I'm just so happy that I've found myself here in a safe space to do that, with this entire family. Like, it's, you know, this business isn't only like financially helping me, but it's also allowing me to step into like leadership and just heal while I'm doing it. And that's so important, right? It's so important for you to be whatever you're doing, you know, like make time to heal yourself and like think about everything that you've gone through and like why you react the ways you do sometimes, you know, because they come from somewhere that's deeper than the person that's causing you react the reaction in this moment or in the moment that you're experiencing. So yeah, that's my story, I think.
Thanks, Nat.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Beautiful story.
Thank you for listening.
Guys, feel free to jump on and ask questions or share anything you feel your heart.
I just had a quick question to start things off. Thank you. You have a very natural sense, Natalie, of personal development, and you really walk the talk. It's not, you know, a lot of people can quote books and quotes and memes and lectures, and but you like live it. So my question to you is, when did you realize that you were like naturally drawn this way? When did this start to express itself? Was it really only recently, or is this something years? And that's part one. And part two, the question is there a certain teacher or book or lecture that really inspires you and really sets you in this powerful direction that you're currently living in? Because it's, I want to read more up on that. I want to know who your teacher is. I want to get some of that magic into me. So thank you.
Wow, Shiva. Thank you for such powerful, powerful questions. Oh my gosh. So I realized my personal development journey started when I discovered a guy named Gary Vee. I don't know if you guys know Gary Vee, but that's my guy. That's the first guy I've ever resonated with that got me into the self-help world. And I realized that in the restaurant industry.
I just want to pause you for a quick second for anybody who doesn't know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, because this is really powerful teaching right here, just in this, I think. This guy is a leader in business.
Mm-hmm.
This guy doesn't even consider himself in the world of personal development, self-improvement, and yet he took his business journey and most passionately, like for free, his learnings of the personal development hero's journey in business. When I say for free, his daily podcast, YouTube, all his social media, you could for free find all of this. And all of it came from his journey as a growing from an immigrant, son of an immigrant and an immigrant, to business leader at the highest level. So awesome learning for all of us. Keep going. Thank you. That's
And
like,
he owns the.
So
New
glad
York
I asked the
Jets,
question.
too. He owns the New York Jets. Like in his 30s, he was the owner of the New York.
No.
That's his end goal.
Why? That's his end game. And he said that from day one. Angelo, you're such a visionary. You saw it.
I thought he owned the Jets.
No, he's on his way to doing it. He hasn't done it yet.
Well, I hate the Jets, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, but you gotta love that he from day one is like, I'm only doing this and all the sacrifice I've made, so one day I'm the owner of the Jets. And you know, I don't want to curse, but you know what I would say if I did with it.
Gary Vee would want you to curse.
Motherfucker! Anyway, you don't have to be like just in self-improvement, self-development to become a self-improvement embodiment for real who inspires and helps people. And that makes sense to me, Natalie, hearing that. So, but keep going.
Yeah, thank you. So, when I was in the restaurant industry, I realized how much negativity was around it, not only from like, you know, guest complaints and like even guests trying to lie and get their way and get free shit, like just making you look bad, you know, you having to just know that, tell your manager and that like just they always win, you know, like they have to get it for free. That's just how it works in the restaurant industry. The guests they're always right. That's what they teach us. Literally, they're always right. You know, and like you basically telling us like that's another way of saying like, and you don't mean shit. Anything you say doesn't mean shit, you know? And it's really hard, you know, like to, especially working at 2 restaurants, having to deal with all of those types of energies coming through, and like even people just, you know, just trying to hit on you, or like just any type of those energies that are just like not with the frequency. And even with the employees, you know, the employees like being so negative because nobody wants to be there, you know. And then like I even had managers that like thought that they could talk to me in a certain way because they own the place, you know. And I was raised in a family and even in a society that believes that if you have money, you are superior, you know, because, and I believe that because I'm just like, fuck, like whatever you did to have all the things you have, like I haven't gotten there yet, or I'm not willing to do the things that whatever you've done, you know, so I'm less of a person than you, and I need to respect you no matter what you say. And I let a lot of people talk down to me in the industry because of that reason. And it's crazy, right? Like I'm healing through that, like, because now that I'm on this side, like it's a different type of power, you know, like I feel equal to everybody. I feel one with everybody. And it's just like such a joke of like what I thought before. And like, it's just love, you know, it's just love to everybody. And I'm just so excited. Like I've cried about it, you know, just thinking about like how I was not so long ago. It was like, you know, a couple months ago, a year ago, where I was thinking these things, like how I just deserve to be talked to in a certain way because I didn't achieve certain things that someone has achieved yet. But to get back to the answer of the question, that's why I started my self-development. You know, I barely had time for it, but I definitely used every single minute I had, which was the commute to work. I listened to so many audiobooks as well. You know, I love Sadhguru. I found Sadhguru, Tom Bilyeu with Impact Theory. Man, every guest he had on that show was like inspiring, and like it was so healthy for my brain. Yes, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Like these are a lot of men that I resonated with, and it's crazy because I tried to find women. That I resonated with, you know, because I'm just like, why are all the guys I look up to like dudes, you know? But these are the guys I resonate with. Like they just speak my language. They speak to my soul. And the environment that I'm in now, like with, you know, this Purium, like I just notice how much love is into, like how much just being a woman is glorified. And I'm like, wow, right? It's teaching me to glorify just being a woman, because I've always seen the masculine as the superior, you know, because that's what we're conditioned to think. And when I was entered into this world, I just loved feeling the connection and the support of women, but I still have this soft place in my heart. I just feel like it's my calling, like to connect with men, because I feel like I know women have it harder because we're in this patriarchy now, but like I feel that men have it so hard too, because they're expected to not feel emotions. And then like that's what drives them crazy, you know, to do crazy things. And you know, like 90% of murders are committed by men, and it's because they feel that they have to like not express their emotions, and that it's wrong and that it's weak, and it's just so sad. And I just feel like I feel so deeply to that. And sometimes it makes me feel weird and wrong, because I feel like I'm not supporting the women's side, you know, my women, even though I love them and it feels so good to be supported by them. But I feel that it is my calling to connect with men and just let them, and just speak into their hearts and their souls, and let them know that it's okay to feel, to be divine, you know, and like represent that so that it looks beautiful, you know, and that it's not so shunned on. I mean, we go through it too as women, but man, I do feel that men go through it worse. But I mean, probably equally the same, you know. I just have a little part in my heart for men when it comes to things like that. But getting back to the answer, let me see. Yes.
Have you checked out Jordan Peterson 12 Rules for Life?
No.
Cool. We'll have a talk about that. I think you'll be really lit up with that one.
Ooh,
Yeah. 12 rules for life.
12 rules for life.
Dr. Jordan Peterson, he
Thank you.
talks a lot very scientifically and powerfully and eloquently about everything you were just speaking on. So if that lands with you, that is a lot of love for you there.
Thank you. That's awesome. But then I'm also scared like men probably will not receive it well from a woman. Like I have that limiting belief as well, you know, because they probably feel that I don't know how it feels, or you know, like they have their little man clans, and you know, they just.
But bottom line, there's a very real personal development, personal growth, self-improvement journey that one undergoes as an entrepreneur, right? You're growing into something, going to places you've never been before within yourself, how you see the world and the world sees you. And I just, why I asked the question is you seem to have really gotten in touch with that component of the journey, and it's fueling your success. And so that's how recent was that? Is that like within the last 6 months, last year, longer than that? That if you were aware of that?
Great question. I would say 2017 was when I started that journey, but recently I upped it and I made investments in people that I resonate with. So like Eric Worre for network marketing. I love that guy. Like he speaks, even though he's super business, like he knows he's like the father of network marketing. Like he speaks to my soul, and he does have an amazing heart that resonates with mine. So I invested in him and all the people that follow him, because I feel that those are my people and those people fuel me, and to be around that gives me that power, you know. And then I also invested in my spiritual side of just a spiritual coach that I actually met through my Canadian team that's exploding. She's basically teaching me to be free, because I don't know how to be free, right? Like I've been so programmed to follow rules and be a certain way. And she's teaching me like just how, and giving me permission almost, you know, to like from myself. It's like she's speaking to me from myself. It's like weird, but it's like amazing coaching that I'm getting. And like everything that I learned from her, like I'm just teaching to my team. Like I just want to give like my everything like to my team. Just like Gary Vee has inspired me to do that too, to just give all of that love for free. You know, like a lot of people create programs and stuff. And I've thought about it too, until I was asked this question: if you were the best at what you did, how would you behave? And I was like, damn, I would be giving out all this information for free, all the knowledge I know on how to love yourself and how to live an amazing life and not give a shit about what people think. Like I would give all of that for free, because that's where all my pain came from. And I don't want anybody to suffer and think that they're not worthy, you know? So anything that I can do to give back in that way, like for free, as of right now, I don't know how I'm going to be in the future, but I feel that that's what I'd want to do, you know? And I'd just get my finances from like Purium, you know, because that's a foundation of fixing and all of that too. So yeah.
Super cool, Natalie. I had a quick question. Yeah. So how long have you been with the company? And as far as your finances go, like how it's grown. Yeah, like I mean, if you don't mind, like I mean, like how much do you make a month, and how hard was it to keep the residual coming, or your team to stay grounded? I'm just curious.
Awesome question. Thank you. So I did the cleanse in May. I got my parents to do it in June, the following month after. So I wasn't even doing the business. And then July was when I started my first group cleanse. So July would be a year for me of actively doing the business. And as of right now, as a green diamond, I'm making like 3K. So, you know, but yeah, but I worked my ass off in restaurants, right? And that's how I was able to invest in these programs for myself now. And it was just crazy how it worked out. You know, like I wasn't doing it. I didn't save up all that for me, really. I kind of did it to buy my parents a house, but like my plans changed, you know, and I was like, I could do so much more if I invested in myself, you know? So
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's what's super inspiring about your story too, and about, you know, this company is that we can connect with the community, you know, and that is so therapeutic in so many ways. It's literally priceless. And I mean, what better time to connect with community, you know, especially in these times right now. Jeez.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, of course. And and when you get to the level of diamonds, right? It's all about your team. So you have to be so giving to your team. You know, it's not about the sales anymore. Like every sale that I've been making, I've been giving kind of to my team because I have the points. I just need my team to get the points to make more sales, to do all that. So as a leader, giving is kind of showing abundance, you know, and showing that it's possible. And that's what I've been trying to do to keep that. That's what I'm working towards right now, you know, because it's not about you anymore when it gets to the diamond levels. It's about your team. Yeah, because if they don't reach a level in the business, you're not going to be able to reach to the next level either. So,
Speaking of team building and the restaurant business, it seems to me, but I really am interested in your opinion and insight, that servers and wait staff and the service industry is ideal teammates for our business to recruit and enroll into our business because of their serious work ethic
yeah.
and working so hard a lot to. I mean, you did really well, but think of the millions who didn't do nearly as well as you did, who worked their butt off just as hard as you did, and like it just seems like so as a recruiting strategy, target, genre, if you will. What's your thoughts on how best to approach a new potential brand partner who comes from the service industry and is real quality, somebody you'd want in your organization, but has never done our business or our kind of business before, but they would just be, they got crown blood running through them.
So this is the thing with people in the restaurant industry. They are small thinkers. They don't believe in themselves. They have a lot of limiting beliefs and a lot of fears. They're not willing to take risks, which is why they've been there. That was me, and I can speak that from firsthand. Like I didn't want to take any other risks until I had superfoods in me, you know what I mean? And then like all of that disappeared. And like, I didn't mention this part of my story, but when restaurants started opening back up again after the pandemic, I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to one job and not the other. Because one of the places I loved working at, I loved going there. I always had fun. I was always myself. But when I went back for one day, and like my guides, this strong voice, I think it was the higher frequency of me, was like, what the fuck are you doing here, dude? Like, you don't belong here. Like, get out of here. Like, you're better than this. Like just in my ear, and I'm like, shut up, dude. Like, this is a stable income, like, give it a couple more days. Maybe you'll get used to it. You spent 3 months away from this is why you're feeling this way. But I couldn't. So I had to talk with my manager at like that same day after my shift was over. And I was like, dude, like, I'm just going to be honest with you. Thank you for calling me back to be the first wave of people to come back, because they couldn't invite everybody back. It was limited, like it was like limited seating. So like they couldn't invite every server or bartender back. And I was just like, dude, I know that I told you that I was excited to come back because I left one job and you guys can have my full availability, but it's just, I'm like, I'm not happy here anymore. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure why I feel this way, but I'm not happy. I was like, but if you guys need me to stay, like, I'll stay for as long as you'd like me to. This is like my lower vibrational self, right? Still, like, I was like here, like my high vibration, like, fuck this shit. I'm ready to get out of here. Manager, I don't care who you are. But then I was like, but I'll stay here as long as you want me to stay here, because I know you need me. And like, I just want to leave in peace. And But luckily, my manager was a nice dude, and he was like, no, I'm not going to make you stay if you're not happy, and he's like, let me put in my 2 weeks. And I left after 2 weeks. So, shit, what was the question?
Well, I guess it's all fucking amazing shit, but to get to the actionable
yeah. I remember.
How do we talk to somebody who we've never enrolled somebody, in this industry before? We see the real potential. They're a person of integrity. They're hard workers. They're focused AF. How do we talk to them in a way that we have a shot at getting them to take a look at what we're doing from your expertise and experience?
Okay, so I have all of my friends are servers and bartenders because it was 10 years of my life. They've seen everything, so much that they've used the products, but they're not the business, and I've tried to talk the life into them and I've even made posts like, dude, there are so many overqualified servers in the restaurant industry, but they're not down. They're not down, like not, at least not in my circle. But if you guys know Karen, who's my girl from Canada, she used to be in restaurants, and she, even when I approached her, she had limiting beliefs. Like, she was like, I live in Hicktown. I told her, like, I was like, do you know anybody that wants to do the cleanse with you? And she was like, no, it's fucked here. Like, this was her language, like, it's fucked here. Nobody's down for any of this stuff. Everybody's small town, everybody's small minded. I was like, dude, people, like, ask around, like, just ask. This is a solution to their small mindset. And she did that, and she got 10 people down to do it with her, because I turned around her limiting beliefs, and that got her to pass me up, because she has a community that believes in her, that loves her. But see, even the most powerful people have these thoughts too. We're always going to have these thoughts, always. Like, I'm going to explain this here too. Mallory, you've heard me fucking say this like a billion times, but like, this is like the ether, right? And we have our low vibrations here and our high vibrations here. And like, we've learned so much how to protect ourselves and survive through a lot of low vibrations, especially of the people around us. And it's like, but do you want to stay there? Because the higher vibrations of you, your future you, is here. It already exists. You have to just align yourself and choose those vibrations and those actions and those thoughts. Because once you choose those thoughts, even though you're like still honoring the fact that you have a choice to still choose yourself here, once you start choosing those thoughts, you start to rise your vibration to your self. You know what I mean? Your better self, your higher self, that self that exists in you already. But the only person stopping you from being that person is you, because you're still staying safe right here, choosing these thoughts, choosing these choices, but just know that all of you exists here. And as long as you choose to reach for the higher vibrations in you, which is harder to do, it's hard as fuck, right? And that's why it's hard to be there, because it's hard to choose that every time, especially with all these other people around you, like all up in here, you know what I mean? So like, you want to vibe there, you want to like snap back a little bit and be like, I know how to be that way. I've been living this way forever. Don't try to tell me. But like, literally, like, it's hard to think that this is the stronger thing to do, like, or like it's looked as the weaker thing to do, to love, right? But when you choose love, like, it, man, like, you're gonna smash all of that down and you're gonna know nothing but it. Like, don't you want to just know nothing but it and just naturally just react that way and just like be that person? Because that's the person that's changing all the lives, like every life, even the people that don't resonate with you. Yeah.
That was good.
Thank you.
Really good.
Thanks.
Awesome.
I hope you guys think about that at those times, because that's what helps me get through those times of the low vibration thoughts and actions, because I still want to choose them too. But if you guys just think about that, all right, man, there's these high vibrations, low vibrations. I really want to act this way, but no, I'm not trying to be that person anymore. I'm ready for the next level. The universe is like sending you people and teachers that are going to test you. Like, which one are you going to choose? Are you ready? Are you ready? So, yeah.
Wow. Thanks, Nat. That's so poignant, everything. And it's always so good to get your high vibes here on the space, man. Thank you. Thank you for supporting this community so much. You're very inspiring to me, so many of us.
Thank you. So
Absolutely.
You are inspiring.
You sure are, Nat. I've been fortunate enough to be in your presence up close and personal, and as Michael Mazie said, it's a spiritual experience being around you. I love you so much. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is great. Mallory's been putting together some great people every Thursday for these Zooms. So thanks, Mallory, for putting this together. And Mal, who we got next time?
Actually don't have anyone next time, but I have some thoughts. So I'm going to book probably a month out by the end of the weekend. So
Well, there you have it, my friends. Purveyors of health, we all are. So, get out there and share the love, share the high vibes, and unlimit those limiting beliefs.
Yes, thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Natalie. Thanks, Angelo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mallory,
Yeah.
for getting it together.
Mwah.
Yep,
Love
thank
you,
you.
Esther.
Thank you, Natalie. You're a firecracker.
Thank you guys. Thank you for receiving.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, great session.
Yay.
See you next time.
We'll
See you
see
next
you all
time.
next time. Have a beautiful evening, and
You too.
hit us up if you need
Thank you,
anything.
guys.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. Have a
For
great
Thank you,
day.
Natalie, Angelo, Mallory. I love you all.
Yeah, I love you guys.